Once again on Gray Matters. I hope you're tuning in. I hope if you're not tuning in live, I hope you see this video, share it, spread it. I think very highly of my own opinion, as most of us do. Um, Coming to you today, a little less angry than I was on my first video, um, and a little bit more composed, however, still nonetheless unscripted, which is not how I ideally want to do this show. But things are happening so rapidly and changing so quickly in the news, and I think the situation is at such a boiling point that even though I know probably only a handful of people see my videos at this point, I feel it's super important for me to at least try to give my opinion, give my 2 cents, and maybe interject some level of logic, rationale, and calm into the situation. With that being said, I'm going to get right into it. So let's start with President-elect Joe Biden. So I've been monitoring his comments and his actions over the past couple of days. And so he was elected largely, people voted for him largely due to his claim that he would bring unity and respect back to the country and the presidential office. And based on his comments over the last couple of days, now look, I understand he's upset and angry, and he wants things done, and as well he should. People need to be prosecuted. People need to be found. I think there needs to be a serious look at the actions of President Trump and his sons and Rudy Giuliani. I don't think they quite rise to the level of criminal, but that's one man's opinion. However, our justice system works on that concept that one man's opinion matters. So when you get in front of a court or jury, I think you're going to have a hard time promoting that President Trump has taken criminal steps, or maybe even might have trouble with impeaching him. But that's a side note. So back to President-elect Joe Biden. But based on his comments and his calling of these people who stormed the Capitol white supremacist, and his comments on arresting people and Donald Trump, and he should be dragged out of office, and bashing Republicans and bashing people of the conservative movement or right wing side of the political spectrum, he is obviously not interested in unity. He never was. It was a political line to get elected. It was a line of BS. And, that's what Joe Biden is famous for. He's notorious for that. Look over his entire career, and he is chock full of crap. He's not going to bring unity. He's going to bring more disillusionment. He's going to bring more strife, more separation, more anxiety, and push us closer and closer and closer to this revolution or civil war that a lot of people fear might happen. And quite frankly, I used to think fears like that were completely crazy, but I'm beginning to believe that those fears are not completely unfounded, and the Democrats and Joe Biden are not doing anything to help the situation. They're not. And if you're a Democrat and you're left leaning, bashing on the Republicans, and Google has decided that it was going to take down the Parler app. I think Apple has done the same thing. Amazon is going to remove Parler from its servers tonight, and I think that is a horrible mistake. Look, I don't like some of the things that people on Parler say. I hear that there's a lot of hate speech. I just joined Parler the other day because I'm trying to get this message out there, because I want those people to hear my message. So I put my show on Parler in hopes that someone would hear me, and maybe I could get through to a couple people, and my message might spread. But it's getting shut down, and so be it. So I'm going to still continue to try to spread my message and bring some peace and sanity back to this country, because people are on the edge. We are on the precipice of a disaster of the likes of which this country has not seen in over 170 years. We absolutely have to hit the brakes. We are heading down a very dangerous road. And like I said, I'm going to say this one more time for clarity. The actions of Nancy Pelosi, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Chuck Schumer, the Democrat Party, and even some people in the Republican Party beating up on the Republicans and all these people who were out there for the protests, calling these people white supremacists and banning their outlets like Parler. You're kicking people while they're down, and all you're going to do is make them more angry, and you're going to justify in their minds their actions, and you're going to make them feel they're even more and more unlikely to find satisfaction and to find equality and to find a common ground with the people in power or the people on the other side of the aisle, and you're going to push them into a more dangerous situation. And I'm truly beginning to think that that's what the Democrats really, really want, because I hate to get into conspiracy theories and all that, and I don't want to do that with this show. I really don't. I want to find answers. I want to find solutions. I want to move us in the right direction. I want to help us move us in the right direction. But quite frankly, I honestly believe the Democrats, at least a number of them in power, in the higher echelons of the Democratic Party, I think they want violence to break out, because I think they want to be able to try to crush the entire Republican Party once and for all. I think they see that as an option, and it is not. It is not an option, and it's not going to happen. There will always be opposition. This country and the two-party system will, no matter what the parties are and how the parties reshape, will almost always end up 50-50. And that brings me to another point. People who think Donald Trump is going to get reelected in 2024. Let me tell you right now, people, Trump supporters, I'm sorry to tell you, Donald Trump is done. Donald Trump got elected, and a lot of people voted for him, and a lot of people believe in what Donald Trump was trying to do. And I think he started off in a noble respect. He honestly wanted to make the country better in the way he saw that it should go. But he has lost his way in a spectacular fashion, I might add. And the events of the past week have sealed his fate. His political career is over. And in fact, he is in great danger of leaving office and getting assassinated. Someone is going to try to kill him. And so impeaching him and taking away his Secret Service protection is basically giving Donald Trump a death sentence. Because he's going to need that protection. I'm telling you right now, if it's not a left-wing radical, and there are plenty in this country, it is going to be a foreign power that comes after him. And that cannot be allowed to happen. As much as people dislike him, as wrong as he may or may not have been, that cannot be allowed to happen. His financial future is going to be in great peril. Donald Trump's got plenty of problems coming his way based on his presidency. And, bashing him and just let him fade away. Don't bother with the impeachment. And by all means, don't try to criminally prosecute the guy, because all you're going to do is inflame the situation and motivate these extreme people, these extreme people on the right. You're just going to motivate them to even more dramatic and violent action. Now is the time to be preaching calm, and it starts with President-elect Joe Biden. He needs to be out there trying to make peace with these people. I know that the people that stormed the Capitol broke the law and they need to be prosecuted, but there are almost 100,000 people there who stood outside and did nothing wrong. Those are the people you need to be worried about. The 1,000 or so people who made it inside, yes, they need to be arrested, prosecuted, end of story. I don't think anyone is really questioning that at this point. At least not anybody who's being really honest and open-minded. And I'm sorry, but you have got to make peace with these people. This is something everyone in power needs to remember. Whether you're a Democrat, whether you're a Republican, whether you're a Libertarian or an Independent, whatever letter is in front of your name, keep this in mind. When you get elected, you are no longer speaking for the Democrat Party or the Republican Party or the Independents or this or that. You're not speaking for them. You're speaking for your constituents in your district, both Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, anarchist, and all of them. You represent everyone, and everyone's word. You work for them. You work for those people. And every single one of those people's words and opinions matter. And they should be taken into account and considered logically, rationally. And if you're not, and that's how we got here, because the two-party system has started ignoring the other side completely. It's like, no, 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 I don't care what they think. I don't care if they're right. They're just, everybody's locked into this one-party mindset, and that's what got us to where we are today. And again, Democrats, I'm going to point this out again. You are fueling the flames. You can't just put this all on Donald Trump. Sure, he is not making things better. He is making things worse. But you are just fanning the flames. You're handling this completely wrong. And I don't care what you think, but you are. You're handling it completely wrong, and you're going to cause us to head into a revolution or a civil war or something else horrible. And, you know, I mean, I'll get into more on what the potential policy positions of the incoming administrations and Congress on another day. But right now, I want you people to understand this. We need to all take a step back, take a deep breath, be calm, start respecting one another as Americans, and start trying to talk this out. Because it's going to get ugly if we keep going down the road we're on. And that goes for Democrats and Republicans. Stop it. I'm just a dude who wanted to make an entertainment show. That's how all this stuff I started doing. I wanted to make entertainment shows, and I wanted to help promote local entertainment, local musicians and comedians, and that's what I wanted to do. But the political landscape has become so massive and so overbearing. It's invaded my life. Anytime I try to do anything that involves entertainment, live streaming, video, anything like that, people bring political stuff into it, and so I just decided that I have no choice. I have to do a political show because I hear so much being said wrong on the right and the left, and even in the middle. There's people in the middle who are wrong because they're not thinking clearly. They're not thinking, okay, moving forward. They're not thinking future tense. And if they are thinking future tense, they're thinking future tense in the terms of how do I make the other side pay? How do I inflict harm on the others? And that's where we don't need to be. Okay, so let's try to get some calm, some rationale, some peace, and some logic involved in this conversation. President Biden will be sworn into office on January 20th. There had better be a peaceful transition of power. Anyone who causes any sort of violence or trouble needs to be dealt with untold prejudice. Because I mean, you will be you'll be completely you'll be treasonous at that point. So just let it happen, accept it. Let's get reorganized as in your party. Let's refocus your message, and let's try to win some elections. Let's try to motivate people to come to our side. And we were actually winning that fight for a while. We were winning that argument. We were bringing in people to. I say we, but because I said I'm going to be honest. I lean right, so people were coming more into the right-leaning mindset, and you've blown it up. You've nuked it with your behavior. So the radicalism, the extremism on both sides has got to stop, because they've become the overwhelming voices, and it's got to be come to an end. And both the Democrats and the Republicans need to be out there preaching that message. Now, Nancy Pelosi, I'm going to get on you for a second. Nancy Pelosi's doing all these things. We're going to try to keep Donald Trump from using the nuclear codes. Now look, I don't have top secret security clearance, as most Americans don't. But I do remember from people I know in the military telling me, and things I've seen on documentaries and TV shows and in the news. From my understanding, the president can't just pick up a code book, punch in some numbers on a computer, and start launching missiles left and right. There's a whole process of checks and balances involved. And that's part of the problem with our nuclear system, is that it's not instantaneous. And if it has switched to an instantaneous system, who the hell thought that was a good idea? I mean, for either side, for Donald Trump, for the Democrats, for anybody. Nobody should be able to just walk in there, punch in a PIN code, and launch nuclear missiles. There should be some checks and balances on that. And from my understanding, from my military people that I know who were in the Air Force and deal with nuclear missiles. They don't necessarily deal directly with them, but they're involved and have some knowledge. And they may be wrong. They're not, like I said, they're not in the missile program to my knowledge, and so they don't know for sure. But it's like the president opens some codes, and they say, okay, we have a presidential confirmation. Congress has to check off on it, from my understanding. There has to be more than one person besides the president saying, okay, launch the missiles. And there's supposed to be a man in the loop. For a long time, we've had that system, a man in the loop, a person in the silo who has to go, hey, is this the right thing to do? Just in case the president loses his mind. That used to be part of the system. To my knowledge, it still is. And if it isn't, why did somebody think that was a good idea? You know, I would like to know who the idiot was who thought of that. So, taking away President Trump's access to nuclear codes, one, it sends a bad message to any potential enemies. Two, that in itself is a seizure of power that you should not be able to do. Three, you know, yeah, it's a seizure of power that you should be able to do. It sends a bad message to our enemies. And three, that shouldn't be the case in the first place. And so, yeah, it's just political posturing. And that's all the Democrats are. That's all the Democrats are doing. Is they're just showing off. Oh, we're gonna, because like I said, they think that the Republicans and they think that Donald Trump and the people who support him are on their knees. They're on a single knee now. That they're on the verge of total destruction, and so they just keep pummeling. But this goes back to what I said at the beginning. If you keep pummeling on these people, all you're going to do is infuriate them even more, and you're going to cause them to get motivated to do something unspeakable. This parallels part of my argument on racism. It's like if you keep beating up on people who aren't, if you keep beating up on people who aren't doing anything because they're affiliated or slightly connected with people who are doing something wrong, you're going to make those people feel like they are getting beat up on and like they are victimized, and then they're going to try to fight back. It's something that the Americans have done with their foreign policy for a long time. We have inadvertently created our own enemies, and we have to stop that. It's madness. So I think there was a couple other things I wanted to talk about, but some of the stuff is just so important. Hang on, let me see if I can check my notes here. Hang on, I made a couple of notes. I was able to jot down a few things. Hang on, my apologies, everybody. I know this is live. Okay, yeah. It's just political posturing. That's what I had. But Biden needs to stop calling people white supremacists if you don't know for a fact they are. Stop calling people terrorists unless you know for a fact they are. Were these people traitors that broke into the Capitol? I'd say that's not too far off base. Terrorists? Maybe that's not too far off base. But you need to be careful with these words, with this language. And we've got to stop censoring the right-wing people. Let them talk. Let them vent. Engage them in conversation. Same thing with people on the right. We need to engage the left in conversation. We need to stop talking past one another and yelling at one another and actually start listening to one another. I keep telling you people, almost every single time that I sit down and I have an intelligent, rational, calm conversation with someone with drastically different views, whether they're far left or far right, because as I said, I reside in the middle. I lean right, but I reside in the middle for the most part. I think Republicans have so much wrong, and the way they go about things is so wrong. And I think the Democrats have so much wrong and go about things in the absolute wrong way. And that's what we're talking about today. Democrats, you're making things worse. Don't just put this off on Donald Trump. You own a share of the blame too. All right, guys, I'm trying to keep these videos around 20 minutes if I can. I've just about hit my mark. It's my day off. I wasn't planning on doing a video today, but based on the banning of Parler, which I think is a horrible mistake, and the banning of Parler and the Nancy Pelosi trying to posture and try to remove Donald Trump from office and do all these things. I think it's a bad move. Biden making his comments and his actions is not bringing us closer together. It's not promoting unity. It's beating up on a man while he's down, and that's cowardly. And you need to be engaging these people like a president. You claim that you're going to be presidential. It's time to start right now, Mr. Biden. Right now. So I'm going to go. And Donald Trump, before I go, Donald Trump, just keep your mouth shut. Stay cool. Ride out these next 10 days. Leave office. Go back. Disappear. Maybe take your names off some buildings for their safety. And just go enjoy your billions of dollars and do whatever it is billionaires with billions of dollars do. And let's go on with that. I was going to say, it's irrelevant. I'll maybe touch on it another day. But all right, guys, I'm out of here. Have a good weekend. Calm, peaceful. We are Americans. I respect and love my fellow Americans, even the most extreme nut job leftist and extreme nut job rightist. I love you and I respect you, but we got to be calm about this, and we got to do things right, and we got to find a way to work together in a somewhat rational and common fashion, and something that's good for everyone and the future. And all right, guys, I'm out here. This is Gray Matters. Please share this video. Please help me spread my message of sanity. I hope you enjoy my videos. And if you have comments, please comment. Tell me I'm right. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me to go to hell or whatever the hell you want to do. Get involved. Get in the conversation. Let's work toward finding solutions and not just spreading rhetoric. All right, guys, I'm out. I'll see you guys later. Bye.